First up with international updates, and trouble does not seem to end for former US President Donald Trump, as he's been charged with mishandling hundreds of classified documents, including the US military secrets and military plans. The 37-count indictment accuses him of keeping the files at his Florida estate, including in a ballroom and a shower, and lying to investigators. It alleges he then tried to obstruct the investigation into the handing of the documents. Prosecutors say that when Trump left office, he took about 3,000 classified files to Mar-a-Lago, his oceanfront home in Palm Beach. On 2 occasions in 2021, the former president showed classified documents to people without security clearance, including a writer and 2 members of his staff. U.S. Special Counsel Jack Smith, who led the investigation into Donald Trump's handling of documents at the Mar-a-Lago, addressed the American people for the first time on Friday after unsealing a stunning 37-count indictment of the former president. Smith urged Americans to read the more than 40-page indictment to understand the gravity of the crimes Trump has been charged with.
Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with felony violations of our national security laws, as well as participating in a conspiracy to obstruct justice. This indictment was voted by a grand jury of citizens in the Southern District of Florida, and I invite everyone to read it in full to understand the scope and the gravity of the crimes charged. We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone. Applying those laws, collecting facts, that's what determines the outcome of an investigation. Nothing more and nothing less.
The twice impeached former U.S. president, who is again running for the job, faces 31 counts of violating the Espionage Act, plus 6 counts including obstruction of justice and false statements, stemming from his alleged efforts to impede the investigation. He could be sentenced to 100 years in prison if convicted of all charges. Our U.S. correspondent Benji Hyer is in Washington, D.C., and he tells us more.
Well, this would be his second arraignment in as many months, and the revelations this time are absolutely astonishing, damning. I have the indictment here in front of me, all 49 pages, from the US District Court in Miami, where Donald Trump will surrender to authorities on Tuesday. It contains transcripts of conversations, photos of the 11,000 documents that were seized by the FBI from his Mar-a-Lago estate last year, dozens marked as classified, some labeled as top secret. These files, according to the indictment here, detail nuclear weapons programs, the capabilities, the vulnerabilities of the American military and that of its allies, military that could ultimately put national security at risk. And it wasn't kept in secure locations, instead in his ballroom, bedroom, bathroom, strewn across Mar-a-Lago. Even in his shower. It also accuses Donald Trump of being heavily and personally involved in packing up those boxes from the White House and moving them, and then showing them on more than one occasion to individuals who did not have security clearance. It outlines too his another allegation that he concealed these documents from investigators, taking them to his Floridian home in Mar-a-Lago and to another one of his estates in New Jersey. And at another point, Trump, when subpoenaed, allegedly asked his lawyers, and I quote, "Wouldn't it be better if we just told them we don't have anything here?" Remarkable. In a Truth Social post, Donald Trump protested his innocence, calling the whole thing a witch hunt. Remember, there's a separate investigation ongoing into his successor, the current President Joe Biden, for, again, the handling of documents. President Biden has not commented on Donald Trump's case. The question is really, what does this have? What impact will this have on Donald Trump's campaign? In perhaps normal circumstances, news like this would be extremely damaging. There was certainly many people thinking that when Donald Trump was indicted back in March, that there would be those sorts of damning effects on his bid to be president again. In fact, after a New York prosecutor charged him with falsifying business records, he surged in the poll, he fundraised millions, and this time around, we're seeing him parrot the same sort of rhetoric, firing up his base, even His Republican opponents, several of them in that race for president, including Ron DeSantis, have come out in support. One thing to note, though, is that Special Counsel Jack Smith, investigating Donald Trump here, has said that he wants a speedy trial. And if that happens before the election and Donald Trump is found guilty, that could certainly derail his campaign. How his most loyal fans would react is another question. Benji Hyer, DD India, reporting from Washington, D.C.